So we can highlight this idea when there's a huge range of things, they can be measured in the Richter scale. Examples are, and any one of these could be on your exam, a decibel scale, a pH scale, or a Richter scale. Of those three, the Richter scale is the easiest to work with. And here's the formula. The magnitude of an earthquake is the log of its intensity compared to the intensity of a standard earthquake. So the intensity of an earthquake is compared to, they have some sort of standard, and you're like, ooh, this one was 1,000,000 times bigger than the standard, then we would get a value on the Richter scale. Okay? The key to the Richter scale is in each increase of 1 is 10 times more intense. So when they talk about an earthquake of magnitude 7, and you said yours was maybe a 3. 3 to 4 would be 10 times bigger. 3 to 5 would be 10 times 10, 100 times bigger. 3 to 6 would be 1,000 times bigger. And the 3 to a 7 would be 10,000 times larger than yours. So you're like, ooh, a strong wind. Take that strong wind and multiply by 10,000 and be like, no thanks. I'm okay to pass. I don't need to be there to see that. So what we can do is there's going to be a shortcut for us for these, and the exam accepts the shortcut, and it's easy enough that we're going to do it, but I'll also show you how to use the formula to solve for it as well, because you will need to use the formulas with both the decibel and the pH scale questions. Okay, most intense earthquake ever was a magnitude of 9.5. So now here is and I'm going to put a tiny little c here because we're going to use different earthquakes. So this intensity of Chile has a magnitude of 9.5, so we put 9.5 in for the M. And we want to solve for this intensity. It says calculate the intensity in terms of the standard earthquake. So that means our question is going to have the S in the end. So whenever something says in terms of, that means that's going to be on the right-hand side of your equation in the end. So we've seen that before. Now I'm solving for something inside of a logarithm. If you want to solve for something inside of a logarithm, we need to get a single logarithm, which we already have. And then we need to do the step that I said you forget. So what's the next step? What do I do next? Has everybody forgot already? Great. I warned you. I warned you you would forget what the next step is. Okay? So somehow you have to train your brain to be able to say, ooh, I know what the next step is. The next step is I use the definition and change it to exponential form. What's the base? The base is 10. What's the exponent? 9.5 is going to equal the intensity of Chile over the standard earthquake. So we can now get the intensity of Chile by itself by multiplying both sides by S. Ten to the 9.5. If I type that into my calculator, that is 3 3,162,277,660 times bigger than a standard earthquake. That's a huge number. It's much easier to think of 9.5, but that 9.5 is huge. Part B. The Haiti earthquake had a magnitude of the Haiti one was given in the question right beside us. It said it was 7. And the magnitude of the Chile one was 9.5. Shortcut. Every time you go up 1, it's 10 times greater. That's the shortcut. Solved, done. We could change that to a decimal, probably on the exam. They would ask for the answer as a number, so 10 to the power of 2.5. 316.228. 316.228 times more intense. That's the shortcut. For earthquakes, you can do that shortcut every time you go up by 1 and you're comparing two things. It's going to be that power of 10. So we went up 2.5, it's 10 to the 2.5. If you were doing it the other way, we found the intensity of Chile in part A. You could have done the exact same math to find the intensity of Haiti. If you want to compare how many times bigger one thing is over another, you have to divide them. So if we took the intensity of Chile and divided it by the intensity of Haiti, you would get 10 to the power of 9.5 times s over 10 to the power of 7.0 times s. Can you see that your s's simplify and go away? And then you just have 10 to the 9.5 divided by 10 to the 7. You have an exponent law. If my bases are the same, what can I do with my exponents? Subtract. And we get the exact same answer. So this would be, if you were asked to use the formulas, you would have to get the intensity of one in terms of S, the intensity of the other, and when they're asking you to compare how many times bigger one is the other, you have to divide them. And you're going to have to do that with pH questions and with decibel questions. They won't be, but Richter scale questions, we can do this easily with a shortcut. Okay. And that was both questions, so I'll give you your ones that you can circle are 4, 5, 9, 10, and 11.